Have you ever wondered if your thoughts alone could shape your entire reality? Well, according to Dr. Joe Dispenza, what you focus on actually creates your future, and a single shift in thinking could transform your life. So in this video, I'm going to break down Joe's most powerful spiritual lessons on how to direct your mind, create new possibilities, and why what you think today matters more than ever, all in just 10 minutes. First, let's dive into the biggest habit Joe insists you practice daily to achieve your dreams. Most of us go through life reacting to whatever happens around us. I'm angry because of this person, or I'm anxious because of that situation. Before we know it, we're blaming the world for how we feel. And the more we do this, the more stuck we get in those emotions. It's like being on a treadmill of stress and negativity that just keeps speeding up. The more we blame other people and circumstances for how we feel, the more these experiences we are going to create in our lives.
The only way that we can believe in a future is when we feel the emotion associated with it. Because if you feel the emotion associated with it, your body is your unconscious mind. It's so objective, it does not know the difference between the real life experience that's creating that emotion and the emotion that you're creating by thought alone. And so you're giving your body a taste emotionally of the future. And the stronger the emotion you feel, the more you remember that future. And you literally are embossing the circuitry for you to believe in it more.
During my own spiritual awakening, I found myself trapped in a loop of negative feelings. Even though I'd spent years consciously creating my reality and I knew that I was the creator of my life, during that phase, I felt like a victim of my life. I let the circumstances and other people control my mood and make me feel miserable. And my dominant feelings were anxiety and fear, and surprise, surprise, life kept serving me more of these same emotions or the same situations to make me feel those emotions. And here's one of the most important lessons that Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches. The emotion that you're feeling is a creative emotion. Our emotions are what creates our future reality. And since I was 13, I've known that what I feel and believe and think directly affects my reality. So I started intentionally visualizing what I wanted. And this is the crucial part. I made myself feel as if it was already happening. Think of it like setting your radio to the station that you want to hear. If you keep tuning into Stress FM, that's all you're going to get. But if you switch to Abundance FM, you start attracting that energy and those circumstances. So from a young age, I would intentionally visualize what I wanted to create in my life. And I would feel as if it was happening in the present moment. I would intentionally kind of trick my brain into believing that what I desired, an opportunity, a financial goal, a certain experience, that was already happening in this moment. And I really focused on feeling these emotions associated with achieving that desire.
So the emotion is the end product of the experience in three-dimensional reality.
Say it again. The emotion is what?
The end product of the experience. It's the payoff. The payoff from the experience, having the experience, is the emotion that is the consequence of the experience. And that emotion is all the sensory information that you're perceiving, everything you're seeing and hearing and smelling and tasting and feeling.
We want what we want because we want to experience the feeling that comes with achieving it. We want to feel loved and appreciated and desired. That's why we want a healthy relationship. We want to feel secure and safe and abundant. That's why we want to have a certain financial goal. So if we focus on generating those feelings right now and imagining that we already have what we desire, it's a shortcut. It's an energetic shortcut. We are telling life and the universe, I'm experiencing and feeling this now, so it must be true and it must be my current reality. And then our reality has to match our vibration and our energy. So how do you put yourself into the right emotional and vibrational state? When I wanted to hit a financial goal, I would take a screenshot of my bank balance, of my bank account balance. I would Photoshop my dream balance, and then I would look at it every day and feel the emotions of having achieved it. When I was attracting a romantic partner, I would talk out loud to him around the house, telling him about my day. I would say goodnight before I went to sleep. And yes, I know it sounds crazy, But you have to be a certain level of crazy and delusional if you want to create the reality of your dreams. I haven't met a person so far who calls themselves realistic whose life I desired. Most people that I meet who are realistic, they only react and respond to reality, and it's not somebody who I want to be like, nor do I want their life. It's not that impressive. So yes, you have to be delusional, and I'm totally fine with being delusional. I've done this for over a decade, and it works. So let yourself be a bit delusional, visualize your desired reality, and most importantly, feel emotions associated with achieving it. Make it real in your mind, real in your body, and your life will start to catch up with these feelings. If you want a tool as well to help, I've got a free visualization meditation that you can use, and I'm gonna link it in the description below.
But the bigger stuff that would stretch your belief so that when you see the synchronicity, all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I created that. Is that possible that I actually created that? Now you start believing more that you're the creator of your reality instead of the victim of your reality, and that's the truth.
But what if you're someone who naturally feels more stressed or anxious? There's something deeper you need to look at before you can consciously create your reality. I made a video back in 2021 where I talked about my addiction to stress and anxiety. I'd started therapy in 2020, and together with my therapist, I realized something pretty crazy. I was literally addicted to these feelings of stress and anxiety. I didn't even know that you could be addicted to an emotional state, that it was possible. But the thing is, I had such a dysregulated nervous system, and due to, past traumatic experiences and environments that were stressful, this dysregulated state had become my norm. So much so that calmness and peace actually felt weird and uncomfortable. So I kept finding myself in situations that made me anxious and stressed, just because that's what felt familiar, and that's what physiologically I was addicted to.
The arousal creates a rush of energy, and people become addicted to the stress hormones. They become addicted to those emotions. And so that now they need the people and the conditions and the circumstances in their life to reaffirm their addiction to the emotion. They need the bad job. They need the bad relationship. They need the traffic. They need the news, just so that they can stay in that emotional state.
So if you want to become the creator of your reality and stop just reacting to life, you have to break this emotional addiction. And let me tell you, it's not easy. Because if you find yourself always complaining, constantly anxious or stressed or frustrated, quick to get angry, chances are that you're hooked on those feelings. And you're also living on autopilot. There's nothing conscious or intentional about these emotions because they're just habits and automatic patterns that you become addicted to. They're like your brain's favorite unhealthy drug.
I've seen this thousands of times. There's always an aha moment, like, I'm addicted to anger? Like, really? Oh my God, maybe I am. Now, the moment you recognize that, oh my God, I'm using that person to reaffirm my addiction to anger. Oh my God, like I don't want to feel anger. Okay, well, an addiction is something that you think you can't stop. An addiction is doing something that you know isn't good for you, and you're doing it anyway, right? So if these emotions are addictive, then I'm going to probably go through withdrawals. I've probably overdosed a few times. I've probably had a couple bad trips. Okay, so let me get really clear, like, how am I going to change this?
So how do you break out of this addiction to negative emotions? The hard work is learning how to bring your body back into a state of calmness and happiness. It's about catching yourself when you start to react and feel the rush to get angry, frustrated, or whatever your go-to emotion is, and stopping that momentum before it gets too fast. And here's a trick that I've used for years that has helped me. Years ago, when I struggled with frustration and anger, I actually bought a pack of football referee cards, red and yellow. And whenever I would be about to react, I would just literally pull out the red card to myself and interrupt this pattern. And it sounds super weird and silly, but it worked as a perfect pattern interrupt, which helped me snap myself out of autopilot. So if you want to break this addiction to negative emotions, you need some sort of a trigger to interrupt yourself. And it's really, really hard to do it in the moment because your old habits are so automatic and strong, they want to take over. So you have to try different tools. Start laughing hysterically to interrupt your automatic reaction, pull out a red card, or even ask your partner or family member to give you a red card when they notice you slipping back into old patterns. If you want to stop feeling like a victim of life, always reacting instead of creating, breaking the cycle is essential. It's not easy, but it's absolutely possible. So to summarize, the two most important lessons Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches are these. Feel now what you want to experience later. Your emotions are actively creating your reality. And addiction to stress and negative feelings is more than just bad for your health, it keeps you stuck. When you're trapped in reaction and autopilot, you end up attracting even more situations that reinforce these emotions. And breaking this addiction is essential if you want to become the creator of your own life. And if you're struggling with physical or emotional regulation, there are 3 easy tools that can help you feel calm and relaxed. So watch this video next where I go over them in detail.